It's great to have everyone with us. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get started, but before I go ahead and introduce our very special guest today, I just want to firstly introduce myself. I'm Jack Blenkinsop. I'm B1G1's Partnerships Manager. I want to just frame why we set up this web event series, Profit Meets Purpose. You see, we partner with amazing businesses from all over the world here at B1G1. And you're seeing a lot of these here in the chat. Some of these are members. These businesses are incorporating impact and crucially purpose into the very heart of what they do every single day. And they're doing it in really great ways, and they're seeing amazing results from doing so. So we thought it would be really cool to speak with some of our members here in the community to see how they're doing this and some of the great results that they're seeing. So that's kind of why we've started this series. They're going to be happening sort of semi-regularly. So if you have any questions or comments, please pop them in the chat. My colleague Raki is here with us. She'll be there ready to answer those questions for you. So please do be in the chat and ask anything that comes to mind. But without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our very, very, very first guest on Profit Meets Purpose. She's a wonderful award-winning brand strategist, I should say. And I must say, I saw this on your website last week. You're also a black belt in karate. Is that right?
Taekwondo.
Yes. Taekwondo. That's very cool. That's very cool. Aarti, Parmar, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you and share.
Well, you've been in B1G1 now, what, I think maybe 5 years, is that? Or maybe around?
Has it been 5 years? I thought it was about 3 or 4, but it feels like a lifetime.
Okay, well, look, we only have like 20 minutes. So I'm going to jump in. I've got some questions that I just want to run through, and we'll see how we go with time. But as a brand strategist, you already helping your clients, lots and lots of clients, align profit with purpose, right? So can you tell us a little bit about your own journey integrating profit and purpose into your own business, and maybe how that's fueled your own growth?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try and give you the short version. So actually, when I first started my business, I had no idea about brand strategy and the importance of it and the role it actually plays in a business. So when I actually first started my business, and it was out of rejection, that's another story for another day. But when I did start, I started as a graphic designer. That's what my background was. And I was like, yeah, I do graphic design, marketing, I do a bit of everything. And that's what I was getting, a bit of everything. And I didn't particularly enjoy everything that I was getting. And I was thinking, I was just kind of going round in circles and, feeling like I was just chasing another sale to invoice. And then in my journey, I then accidentally came across coaching, and I had one of those epiphany moments of like, oh my God, this needs to be part of my life, and it needs to be part of my clients' lives. It isn't just about, having a logo and a website first and foremost. It's about having real kind of inner alignment and ownership. So during that time, I invested in becoming a qualified coach, and then I started doing some brand courses, and then eventually became a certified brand strategist.
Yeah.
The game changer for me in this part of the journey was like, oh, this isn't about just selling a product and a service. When I connected to my own brand's purpose, mission, vision, and really, when I say connected, I'm talking from within me of why I'm really doing what I'm doing, what's really fueling me, what's really energizing me. This gave me much more to lean into and speak about, because it's not just about me and the product or service that I'm selling. So it allowed me to open a whole array of conversation, storytelling, more of a brand narrative than me going into a networking room and say, would you like to buy my brand maximizer service?
Yeah.
Now it's on a whole bigger level, a whole bigger vision and purpose, which really aligns with me and excites me and enthuses me, but also it attracts the kind of people that also are, excited with that kind of vision and mission and those kind of things. So that was the game changer for me, and learning that for myself and what it's done for my business in terms of, landing all sorts of wonderful opportunities, speaking, podcasts, that kind of thing, working with more of my attracted aligned clients, that kind of thing. And for me to create initiatives that leans into that bigger mission and purpose. So that for me has been the game changer. So with knowing and learning and experiencing that myself, I'm like, I want other business owners to
Yeah.
have this, because it's not just about the product and service, especially in the world that we live in today.
Yeah. I'm sure like when you're attracting clients that are like-minded, that you really enjoy working with, that just makes your job so much easier and so much more enjoyable, right? And the clients that you are attracting, that you're working with, what challenges have they had with, integrating purpose into what they do? And like, what are those hurdles, and how have you helped them overcome those?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, on majority of my inquiry calls, put it this way, nobody comes to me and says, Artie, I need brand strategy, ever, right? The kind of things that they'll be saying to me is like, I've been in business for, 5 years, 7 years. I mean, I've worked with businesses over 30 years, and something just feels misaligned. It feels disconnected. We're all over the place. We've had fantastic growth, maybe even in sales, that kind of thing. We've grown the team, but we've really evolved over time. And something's just not quite sitting right. They are still at this point not aware that they don't have core identity and brand foundations in place. And the purpose sits in the brand foundations. Not only the purpose, it's the purpose, the vision, and the mission. There's sometimes a confusion with purpose, mission, vision. And just to eliminate it in a very short and succinct way. Your purpose is why you do what you do beyond generating profit. The vision is what you are working towards. What is that bigger vision? What world would you like to see? And the mission is how you are going to do that aligned with your purpose and vision. So without these brand foundations, that's already a problem, because where most businesses owners are operating from, right, we need to get our marketing done. So, they're just creating initiatives and campaigns and content and all of those kind of things. But where is that actually coming from? It's coming probably from ideas, trends, things that they're thinking, oh yeah, this would be a great idea.
Yeah.
But actually, when we have these foundations, it makes it so much more of an easier place to create initiatives from, to flow from, to have part of the foundations is also your values. So then it also creates experiences that are aligned to your purpose, mission, vision, values, which then has the knock-on effect of creating your distinctive positioning,
Yeah.
creating, what you really actually want to be known for.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's something you've mentioned before. And actually, when I've spoken to you in the past about this, you speak a lot about how purpose impacts sort of influence and longevity. I know that's a key part of your business, and anyone that visits your website would see that. How would you say partnering with V1G1 has supported that side of things, and how has it impacted like the way that you work with clients, and keeping in mind purpose and keeping in mind how that impacts longevity as such?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I remember having that heart flutter as well when I came across B1G1, thanks to Stacey Keogh. Shout out to her.
Yeah,
And I remember, yeah, and I remember feeling like, oh my God, this really aligns. And those heart flutters, do take them as signals, because something that excites you in that way, sometimes there are sometimes things that don't feel logical and all of this and that, but then actually when you've got that clearer understanding around your own purpose, that for me, I was like, oh, B1G1 beautifully fits into this, because part of what I do is to educate and activate aspiring legacy leaders to mindfully define their brand and use it with intent, joy, and effect. So now, where does B1G1 easily fit into that? For me, it's the whole educate bit, and the goal number 4, quality education, number 4. So now when clients work with me, I then contribute and impact for quality education number 4, especially then furthering in, phoning into that is for disadvantaged children. We know how powerful and valuable education is. That's what gives us the fuel to take action and, have that knowledge and all of those kind of things. So having this as part of my brand and then being able to lean into it, be it in conversations with my with clients, on an inquiry call, that kind of thing, or even actually when I'm taking them through a brand strategy workshop, and I'm able to confidently and proudly example, like, look, my purpose coming to life looks like this, and also this, working with B1G1, it connects with my, the purpose and the mission and that kind of thing. And then I get them to also think out a little bit broader from what they're doing, because at this point, obviously, we're looking at that bigger purpose. And you could see it's like they're like, oh wow, I could be part of a business for good, and I could be making a greater impact that aligns with who I am and what I'm doing.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's, I mean, that's funny you mentioned those heart flutters, because you're not the first member to say that to me. When they came across B1G1, obviously businesses come to us in lots of different ways. It might be hearing about us at an event or seeing us on socials, but when they start to dig a little bit deeper and they find out about B1G1, that sense of like, there's a shift in their thinking, right? About how great, not just giving back, but impact and purpose more meaningfully into what they do. So that's really, really cool. And it sounds like your clients have responded really well to what you do with B1G1 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just enabling them to see on that bigger in that bigger space in that sense. And then, what's really beautiful, what you guys do have on the platform is the gratitude certificate. I love sending those out, and I'm just like, yeah, and when I get the responses, it's beautiful, and I'm just grateful, one, that they trust me as being part of that brand journey, but then being able to then say, look, actually, you've helped educate, disadvantaged kids, and that they are like, oh, wow, this is absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's great to be able to do that. And then, some of them have been like, right, okay, how do I integrate this now into my business?
That's so cool. I'm going to go off piste a bit here, which was not planned, but
Go for it.
yeah, I have this bag which it's just sitting there because I share it with businesses I speak with. I have 2 children, right? I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and there's a business we partner with called Slumber Sack, who are based in Germany. So they produce baby sleeping bags, right? And when they send these sleeping bags out, and I bought a lot of these sleeping bags from them with having young kids, you can see the giving they do as a result. And I've been involved with B1G1 since 2016, and when I was receiving this bag with the slumber sacks in, the sleeping bags in, to see the impact that was being had just by buying this bag, as a B1G1 team member who's, I'm exposed to B1G1 every day, it still made me feel like just awesome, right? And it comes those heart flutters that you spoke about, and there's awesome stuff that they include in there too. But I love that you love the gratitude certificates. They're something that a lot of our members still use, and I think it's great that businesses are still using them in person as well, as opposed to just sending like email. I think in a digital world, like, it's still nice to receive something like tangible, and I know a lot of members do that still, and the impact it has on their clients is really, really cool. So
yeah, it is very much about how you make people feel. Brand is about how you make people feel, and when we're doing it in such a aligned and intentional and authentic way, people feel that. I like to say, a brand is an energy, it is felt and it is experienced. So we get to, and this is the lovely part as business owners, and we get to create those experiences. And
yeah,
that has a lovely knock-on ripple effect of how people know you, remember you, all of those kind of things.
yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, but it's awesome to hear as well. So just want to ask about ROI on these purpose-driven initiatives like B1G1, all right? Because it's great to be doing these things, and we work with thousands of businesses globally that are integrating B1G1 in really, really cool ways. But for you, do you have ways in which you can kind of track how this is impacting your business in a positive way, and how it's improving the way that you do business, how you're building it into your strategy, any kind of metrics or KPIs that you use? Nothing too specific, but
Yeah, I mean, look, this here today is already an ROI. why have you invited me on?
Yeah. Well, we love you.
Yeah. But something through my actions, through my conversations, through my content has probably felt very true to you.
Yeah.
And this is what, in terms of when it comes to brand positioning, building, all of that kind of thing, some things are going to be really, really intangible and
Yeah.
then later on have a tangible knock-on effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in terms of ROI, it could be through feelings. It could be through, when I've spoken to a client on an inquiry call and tell them like, okay, and this is you working with me is also going to be doing this. It's a lovely way to be able to have conversations that isn't just about my service,
Yeah. I can understand that
about
completely.
the bigger impact that we all get to make. So it's invited me onto podcasts. It's invited me onto, conversations like this. It's allowed me to work and attract my aligned audiences. So it's a combination of a variety of different things. And being part of B1G1, I just love being able to bring it into conversations and try and bring other people into the journey with me.
Well, we love having you here, and we appreciate everything you're doing. And you're seeing it in real time, right? With the reactions you're getting from your clients and prospects when you talk about the impact that you're having um, through B1G1. Just mindful of time here, so I want to ask you one more thing, just to sort of finish off. If you were to give one piece of advice, I'm sure you're giving advice to businesses all the time, but if you were to give one piece of advice to a business that's looking to embed more purpose into what they do, like, what would that advice be? And it can be anything, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Firstly, know what your purpose is. There's a lot of, like I said, confusion around purpose. So, really do work on that. I've seen people, business owners, go into Chat GPT and, pull out their purpose and mission and that kind of thing. In fact, I'll tell you a real life scenario of somebody that was telling me about his business, and we were having a coffee, and he was really, you could see the energy, really enthused and stuff. And he's like, Aarti, I've even got a purpose and a mission and all of that. Okay, yeah. He's like, I want you to see it. And I looked at it, he gave me his phone, and I was just like, I'm sorry to say, I was like, this is ball bleep, right? I was like,
Okay, right.
everything that you've just energetically told me, felt, and all this isn't coming across. It's not you. You
Mm,
know, something like ChatGPT isn't going to get to the core of, understanding, asking the right, powerful, intuitive questions of why you're doing what you're doing, because this is a really important thing to get in place, the purpose, mission, vision. So my advice tip would be definitely understand those core identity um foundations, and I've also had people, running businesses and they're like, oh, we're gonna do it internally, but the thing is, are you equipped to do
mm.
it internally? It's the classic case of we're sitting inside the jar, we don't see the label outside of the jar.
Oh, yeah, that's
Whereas when you work with an expert, be it any, just generally, even when you work with experts, you're getting expertise. You're not the expert
yeah,
in everything that's going. So having that an outsider come in and, that helicopter view, allow you to see different perspectives, really give you and hold the space for you to deeply connect within,
yeah,
to
yeah,
then, go out. The other thing is, what I've heard is, I'm sharing these examples, real life examples, as opposed to just giving the tips simply because, they're real life. The other thing is, business owners have got their team to do it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Team didn't start the business. The team haven't had the journey, the experiences, the lived experiences that you have as a business owner. Really, it should be coming from you and the team. Yes, they can contribute to it, but as founders, there's a reason that we've stepped out to do our own business. And when we really get to that core identity, it then really helps to attract the right people, get the right team in, people who are on the same page. They want to be part of that mission and vision and, purpose. So that would be the thing, go into that first, because then thereafter you can get the team to create marketing initiatives,
Right.
content, website, visual identity system. It's so much more easier to do once you have that piece.
Get that set in, yeah. Great advice. What a way to end. Well, before we all shoot off, there is one thing I want to chat with you about. So firstly, guys, if you're listening to Aarti today, and if you think what we're talking about here is great, just put a G in the chat for me for great. And obviously I want to thank Aarti for all the great stuff that she has been sharing with us. You might be listening to the conversation here and thinking, this is just awesome. Like the way that Aarti is embedding impact and purpose into the heart of the business is brilliant. Like, I just love the sound of this. Well, the good news is that like it's very easy to do this through B1G1. It's very, very easy. Aarti's been a member now for a few years, but getting started with B1G1 really is so simple. It's not something that has to be put off. Joining just takes a couple of minutes. It's very, very easy to do. So what I'm going to do right now, guys, before we let you go, is I'm going to have Raki drop a link in the chat to our join us page. So if you've loved what you've heard, and I hope you have, because I've loved it too, and you feel like there's a good fit here between B1G1 and your own business, then I would really, really encourage you to head to our join us page and check that out. As I say, just a couple of minutes to join. So do have a look there. What we're actually going to do as well, because this is the very first Profit Meets Purpose event, we're going to make a special offer to you as well. This is only available to those that are live on the event, by the way. It's not available to those that watch the recording. So for those that are here, thank you. Raki is going to pop a code in the chat for you. And that code you can use when you join B1G1 today, which will give you $100 into your B1G1 account to get going with your giving. And I'm sure Aarti will vouch for this. You can make impacts with B1G1 from just a few cents, right? Like fees and provide access to education and grain seeds from very small amounts. So just imagine how many amazing impacts you could create globally with $100. And that's just to get you going with your giving. So I would really, really encourage you, if you feel this is a good fit, you like what you've heard today, to check out the join us page, use that code to join, so you get those that $100, and of course the team will then support you to get going with your giving. But we are out of time. We've just gone over here, which I don't think is too bad for the first installment of this Profit Meets Purpose series. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Aarti, for your time and all of your wisdom and all of the stuff you've shared. It's been honestly fantastic. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. I know Raki's been keeping an eye on the chat. So firstly, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Anything else you wanted to say there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and also just thank B1G1, because the platform that's been created, and yes, has evolved over time, you've just made it so much more easier and accessible for us to make impact. So yeah, guys, honestly, just go and do check it out, because there's a lot of effort and work that has gone into this platform so that we can make that bigger impact. So really, really grateful for this, because we are busy as business owners and all of that kind of thing. So being able to have this, it's a real gift. It's a real gift.
Thank you, Aarti. You're a real gift for being here. I really appreciate those kind words. Guys, there is going to be more of these episodes coming up. So if you've enjoyed today's, 2 weeks from now, we've got another great B1G1 member coming on, completely different industry to Aarti's. But he's going to be sharing some really great stuff as well. So do join us for that. We'll share more details in due course. But for everyone here today, thank you for staying a couple of minutes after 11 UK time. Aarti, it's been wonderful, and hope everyone's enjoyed this, and have a great rest of the day, and hopefully see you at the next episode in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks so much, guys, and take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye all.